Today's life you are about to experience is that of Tsai Jinhua, a woman whose name has remained unforgettable in the history of China's brothels. Beijing's the winter of 1930. On a bitterly cold winter night, you curl up inside a pitch-black room barely larger than a coffin, lying on a decaying wooden bed. The freezing north wind howls through holes in the paper window, making your lungs feel as though they are being pierced by thousands of needles. There is no charcoal fire, nothing to keep you warm, and not a single grain of rice to eat. Even the bowl of water on the table has frozen into a solid block of ice. You cough violently, and every cough brings up another mouthful of blood. If a passerby happened to glance inside, they would simply shake their head and sigh, just another lonely old woman. But if they knew who you really were, they would be stunned. Because you were no ordinary old woman, you were Tsai Jinhua, the legendary beauty whose charm once captivated the king court and even the blue-eyed, high-nosed aristocrats of the West. Were you the courtesan who saved a nation, or the woman who betrayed it? The answer depends entirely on who is telling your story. Suju, 1876. At 19 years old, your birth name was Zhao Keiyan. After your father died, your family fell into desperate poverty, and with tears in her eyes, your mother sold you to a boat owner. On your first night aboard, you gazed at your reflection in the waters of the Qinhuai River. Your oval face, fiery eyes, and snow-white skin were a beauty capable of changing destinies. The boat owner licked his lips and said, "A girl this beautiful would be wasted if she didn't become a courtesan." You learned to smile when you wanted to cry, to pour wine without spilling a drop, and to play the pipa until wealthy merchants lost themselves in desire. Little by little you sold your smile, your body, and eventually pieces of your soul. Deep inside, you convinced yourself that all men were the same, calling you their beloved to your face while despising you behind your back. Then one evening, an elegant boat arrived carrying Hong Jun, the empire's top scholar who had returned home to mourn his mother. He looked at you and you looked back as you sang the saddest song you knew. Captivated, he said, "Come with me. I'll give you a name and a place in my family." His relatives were outraged. The empire's greatest scholar marrying a courtesan, has he gone mad? But Hong Jun ignored them all and married you. You were 20, he was 50. Once known as Zhao Keiyan, you became Madame Hong, the wife of China's highest-ranking scholar. Yesterday you had been a woman of the pleasure houses, today you were a respected noblewoman. Life could be astonishingly ironic. When Hong Jun was appointed king ambassador to Europe, you accompanied him overseas. There you accomplished what few Chinese women of your era had ever dared. You traded traditional robes for elegant European gowns, wore fashionable hats, and devoted yourself to mastering German at a royal ball in Berlin. Beneath magnificent crystal chandeliers, you walked gracefully into the palace, silk skirt swaying, an ivory fan resting lightly in your hand. In flawless German, you greeted the German empress. Your elegance amazed everyone present. A handsome German officer approached and said, "Madam, your Eastern beauty is extraordinary." His name was Alfred von Waldersee. As a waltz filled the ballroom, you danced together through the heart of Europe's ruling elite. He taught you refined German, and many nights you lay awake wondering, am I saving my country or betraying it? Then you laughed because somehow both answers were true. A few years later you returned to China, only to lose everything when Hong Jun died. His family immediately revealed their true nature and cast you out with nothing. You cried only once before wiping away your tears forever. Traveling to Shanghai, you opened the famous Jinhua House under the title of the scholar's widow. Sitting proudly in an ornate chair with a long smoking pipe in hand, you watched men pour in like flies. "I want the woman who danced with the German general," they would say. Once again you sold your smile and your dignity, eventually becoming the uncrowned queen of Shanghai's courtesan world. Beijing, the summer of 1900. The Boxer Rebellion erupted, vowing to destroy all foreigners. Soon the Eight-Nation Alliance invaded Beijing. Empress Dowager Cixi and the Guangxu Emperor fled the capital, abandoning the city to occupation. Gunfire echoed through the streets as flames consumed entire neighborhoods. You and the women hid inside until German soldiers burst through the door. One seized your hair while another pressed a rifle against your head. You did not tremble. Calmly pushing the rifle aside, you shouted in fluent German, "Stop. I am an old friend of Field Marshal Waldersee. How dare you insult the wife of a former imperial envoy?" The soldiers froze in disbelief. Producing old letters proving your relationship with Waldersee, you watched them immediately step back and salute. In that moment, you made the greatest gamble of your life. You demanded to see Waldersee himself, now commander of the Allied forces. Driven through streets filled with corpses, you entered his headquarters and looked him directly in the eye. Have you come to conquer or to massacre? If you wish history to remember you as a civilized commander, order your men to stop killing innocent civilians. From that night onward, your carriage traveled constantly between the Allied headquarters and King officials. You used your fading beauty, your past relationship with Waldersee, and even your own body to negotiate with the enemy. Through those efforts, you helped save hundreds of civilians, persuaded German forces not to burn the Summer Palace, and promoted peace negotiations. Every day you walked a razor's edge, hailed as a heroine by some, and condemned as a traitor by others. When the war ended and the king court returned, cowardly officials needed someone to blame. They accused you of murder and threw you into prison, where you were chained, whipped, and tortured. You endured every blow in silence. Only after selling everything you owned were you finally able to buy your freedom. The people whose lives you had helped save turned their backs on you. Your wealth vanished, love disappeared, and everything you had built collapsed. Though you escaped execution, you spent the rest of your life wandering in poverty. You married again and again, but fate remained merciless, and every husband died before you. Eventually another family cast you out, repeating the same cruel cycle. Your youth faded, your legendary beauty disappeared, and you could no longer survive as a courtesan. Now you lie once more upon that broken wooden bed, as snow falls silently outside. The cold slowly climbs from your feet to your chest, and your breathing grows weaker with every passing moment. A faint smile appears on your lips. Your life has become one of history's greatest contradictions. A courtesan who performed the work of a diplomat, the wife of China's greatest scholar who ultimately died in poverty like a beggar. Once you danced beneath the crystal chandeliers of Berlin's royal palace, now you cling to life beneath a worn-out blanket. Men curse you as a traitor to your country, while women praise you as a compassionate savior. As you close your eyes for the last time, one final memory appears: a 20-year-old girl standing on the deck of a flower boat in Suzhou, smiling brightly as she waves farewell toward an uncertain future. And with that, the last peony of the Qing dynasty quietly withers away beneath the falling snow.